335 with the N55 manual, Apex wheels, BC coilovers, and I paid $4,600 for it. All that, we're gonna clean all that up. You could eat lunch on this thing. I did everything that the car needed, and the craziest thing happened. It's like perfect timing. I took the money from him, gave the money to her, and bought a second car. We're picking up really quick, and I'm excited to show you guys what comes next. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I haven't been posting in a very long time now. There's a lot going on, shop and whatever else, but I just came up with the greatest idea, right, Don?
Yeah.
So my idea is to trade my way into a G80 starting on an E92. So idea just came about today. Customer hit me up. Actually, somebody that followed me hit me up and was like, hey Doug, I want to sell my car, right after I announced that we're now selling cars and buying cars, and asked to pass by. He had a very clean, honestly, 335 with the N55 manual, Apex wheels, BC coilovers. I'm going to show you guys the car in a little bit, and we're gonna fix it up. We're gonna put some love into the car. We're gonna do what it needs. Right now, so far, we see the oil pan gasket leaking, the turbo return line is leaking, the oil level sensor is bad as well, so we're gonna do that. Some sway bar links. We're gonna go over the whole suspension. The car doesn't need a lot, to be honest, but we are gonna do everything that it's needed so we can sell a clean car to somebody. So let me show you guys the car a little bit, and let's start and see how much we could get for this car. I paid $4,600 for it. So here's the car. Boys are giving us some love. There's a couple of things like, you know, some trims that are hanging out. We're gonna make sure they're nice and tight. Like I said, BC coilovers, nice private Sport 4S's. Boys are ripping it apart already, doing the oil pan gasket. You gotta drop the subframe, make sure we clean everything, and it's nice and clean. It's got upgraded intercooler already. It's got M3 arms, thrust arms. Those thrust arms do go bad a lot, so we have those control arms. Brand new brakes all around, slotted and drilled. Got some spacers on there. Again, Apex wheels, original, not replicas. All four tires are in good condition. So this is the car, N55. I'm gonna give it the DM Performance love to it and see what we could do with it. All right, guys, day 2 of ownership. If you're Brazilian, you'll definitely appreciate this license plate. Expansion tank looks kind of funny, but we'll see. It's holding up. So all that, we're gonna clean all that up, make sure we change the brake fluid, the steering fluid, all the fluids, honestly. I want to change, make sure. Oh, nice. The guys actually did put something here and there proper, because we didn't have a line plugged into the blow-off valve before, and now we do have a quick connector. See, I didn't even tell them to do this, they got it done. It's nice. And we had the block, looks like, so that's good. Oil pan gasket just came in, but let me walk around this thing and show you guys how actually nice it is. You know, I want to make sure I'm gonna clean all the wheel wells, all the suspension, you know, everything's gonna be clean. Got some good meat on the pads. We didn't even clean the car yet, which we do plan on doing. So everything works. He had check engine light on for the MTL, which will figure out what that is and make sure there's no lights, make sure there's no leaks, make sure there's no noises. Drivability is perfect. So whoever buys this thing doesn't have to worry about any existing problems. These wheels are so nice too. But since we're trying to maximize profit, since we're gonna be trading our way into a G80 and see how many trades we're gonna make until we get into a G80, I want to maximize profit on this thing, but still I want to give it nice to somebody who will buy. So possibly a paint correction, I don't know yet. I'll see what the budget will be, how much we're going to end up, you know, spending on this, but we're looking good. Actually, where's the pan? Oh, here's the pan. You could eat lunch on this thing. So clean. Ready to go in. Oh, one thing that Don mentioned. Say hi to Don, guys. Don is my manager, service advisor. He mentioned those garbage coils.
Garbage.
Sorry, Don. You gotta go. Delphi, if you have an N55, N52, N51, N54, S55, you want Delphi coils. N63, all the family, even M54s, you want Delphi coils, period. You don't want that garbage, or you don't want Bosch either. So good news is that he does have the Delphi coils in the car somewhere, so we're gonna swap them, put the other ones back, check the spark plugs, see how they're looking as well. Oil pan ready to go in. Nice and clean. Everything looks nice in there. Let's go. All right, guys, so nice and clean. As you can see, I couldn't even see this before, but it's got upper camber arms, usually good for lower cars, because once you lower, the camber goes negative and you can't adjust if you have stock arms. So this is, you know, really good for the application. You can now see the suspension. It's now nice and clean. Looks like something was rubbing here before and the wires were exposed, and I believe this is the reason why we had the DMTL codes, but we now have the wires repaired and that fault code should go away. We also put the line that was missing, as you guys can see there. This was missing, had nothing connected to it, so we had a little block there. Boys put a little quick connector hose, connect the back end properly, clean everything out. Look at this engine bay. Beautiful. And we have a little noise here going on. I don't know if you guys could hear it, but it will go away as soon as I press this. Possibly the reason why the car was sold, I can't tell. But it's either the rail, the mounts on the rail that are loose, or either this pipe is probably touching somewhere. We're gonna try to address it real quick. Yeah, so that bolt is tight. It's probably one of the mounts down there. This pipe, I know he replaced the high pressure fuel pump, so probably something is loose within that pipe down there somewhere. We're gonna try to check it out. All right, it's getting expensive already. Oil cap started leaking, so we're gonna have to replace the oil cap. At least it's a $50 part. You know, put a new cap and we should be good. But this is another problem. RDC is not communicating. So it could be anything from a wire that's broken, corroded, or the module, which is probably 300 and something bucks. So it's getting expensive. Car's already at, as we sit here and everything we've done so far, we put $1,500 into it, parts and labor. So let's see what this RDC thing is. All right, so I'm driving this thing home and I just realized it's got self-driving too. Look, he keeps turning. There is no feedback from the steering wheel. You turn it, she goes. Oh my God. So I'm thinking there's probably a seized ball joint or something like that. And the light for the tires, there's no communication, as you guys saw earlier, with the RDC. So I'm thinking is the wires, something related to the wires. But other than that, the car drives mint. Drives good, doesn't knock, there's no sounds from the suspension, no squeaking. So the wires, I saw some repairs on the wires that I had showed you guys earlier, and that is probably leading to the RDC not communicating. I saw some K-can wires which should have been twisted, and they're not twisted. I know it's not the module because I did have another one sitting around at the shop. I plugged it in and didn't communicate, and all the other control units set a fault with the K-can. So I know the module is bringing other things down as soon as it's plugged in, and I know it's not the module because that happened with multiple modules. So get that sorted out and let's see what we find. All right, so I did find what the problem was with the car binding, you know, when I was driving and not having any feedback. Like, you would turn the car and it would continue going. If you let go of the steering wheel, we would just hold at whatever position you left it at. So what I did, I disconnected the rack, as you guys can see on both sides right here. So I disconnected the rack, and what I did was I started turning to see if any of the ball joints was seizing up, you know, or maybe the top hat or something, because as you guys can see, the car has, you know, all new control arms. So nothing, as you can see, nothing is binding on either side, you know, is turning as it should. So no ball joints, no top hats are bad. So what ended up being bad was the rack. Usually it could be the column shaft. The U joint usually binds up, but in this case I wasn't lucky enough to beat that. And it's the rack. It's actually the rack. Inside the rack, it's probably warped, and when I turn the wheel inside the car, I could actually feel it, how heavy it is. So I'm gonna source a rack, we'll put a rack in, and we'll go from there. All right guys, so the car is finally done now. I did everything that the car needed. The power steering, as you guys saw earlier on the video, is fixed. Ended up being the rack that was warped internally. I put a used rack in the car, and the car is now good to go. So now is the fun part. I'm gonna bring you guys on my notes. I created an invoice for myself, and I'm gonna show you guys how much I actually spent on the car. And I'm doing this to show you guys in a way that you would possibly spend. Let's say you didn't work on the car at all, you pay another shop to do it. I'm giving you the price that you would possibly pay at a shop like mine. I'm charging myself, including the price I pay, you know, for labor, parts, and everything. So I'm giving you the most realistic number that you would spend on the car if you don't work on cars. But again, all you guys that are watching this, I know you guys want to throw hands on the car. You do a little something yourself at home, and you'll be able to save a little bit of money on the things that I mentioned that I did on the car if you ended up doing them yourselves. Worst case scenario would be spending what I have down here. Okay, so let's go over. I have here first line oil service. Okay, labor and parts. I have a total of 2,821, which we could call 2,800 that we put into the car. We have the labor for replacing the oil pan gasket, 1 hour for replacing the turbo line, and oil pan gasket, since this car is not all-wheel drive, is a 6.5, comes out to $1,000.72. 165 for the turbo line, which had nothing to do with the oil pan, and it ended up being easier because we had everything down anyways. And then we replaced the air filter, which I didn't put labor on that. If I did a job for somebody, I would, all those things I would have done for the same labor I did here. So I would have gave, you know, a customer of mine a break on putting an air filter, power steering pulley, which was broken, oil level sensor, since we had to take the oil pan out anyways. And here's the price for everything. Oil return line, the ground strap, the oil pan gasket, oil pan bolts, their aluminum and one-time use, the fog light pigtail, which was out in one of the sides, the fog light bulb, oil filter cap, which ended up being broken when we took it apart to do the oil change, and the steering rack used. So I didn't put the steering rack, ended up being after everything was completed. So the actual price that I paid for the steering rack was $125, which is fairly cheap, and I put another $225 of labor. Is it $225? $125, $325. Put a $325 labor of replacing the steering rack and fluid and everything. So I did everything included for $450, okay, which brings us to a total of $2,800. So not bad at all, not bad at all. I put $2,800 into the car, and we paid $4,600 for the car. So we in it for quite a bit of money. We're in it for $7,400. So I don't see us making a lot of profit in this car. Like I mentioned before, it does have a lot of good parts and everything, but I see myself making tops $1,100 on this car. I'm very perfect NOCD when it comes to cars. I want to fix everything. I want to make sure there's no lights on. I want to make sure there's no noises. I want to make sure drivability is good. I don't want to sell a car to anybody that needs something. If it's not good for myself, it's not good for somebody else. I am the one who loses the most at the end of the day because I'm not making as much profit. Anybody out there selling cars, most people, they want to, you know, increase the profit as much as they can. I want to increase my name. I want to increase how I do business and, you know, be talked about out there when somebody says, I bought a car from Doug, I bought a car from DM Performance or DMP Auto Sales, and the car never gave me any issues. So that's how I want to be talked about out there. I do how I do it. You know, maybe I'll try to prioritize things a little bit better, where I only do the necessary things and leave the rest for the person that's buying the car. But this car, we went all out and we did everything that the car needed. Car is perfect, good to go. So that being said, I gave you guys the example of how much you would be in the car for if you paying somebody to do it, if you're paying a shop like mine to do it. Now, let's say you're handy, you're able to do some work yourself, you could get a discount from your buddy on parts, you could get some stuff from FCP Euro, which does have a lot of good prices. You will save about $1,200, let's call it, okay? So for this video, I'm gonna say I did the job myself, and let's call it that we're in the car for $6,200, okay? I wanna be fair. I want to tell you guys exact prices, what I actually spent on the car. So I'm in it for $6,200, but I gave you guys the example. If you were to do the job and pay somebody to do it, you would have been in it for $7,400, $7,500. So let's see how much we're able to sell this car for, and see how much we're gonna put in the piggy bank for the next car, and do the same thing over and over and over until we get into the G80. All right, guys, so 335 is finally sold, kind of. I have a guy coming. He hit me up on Facebook Marketplace. He said he's on the way here, and the craziest thing happened. A customer came in today. She was here some time ago. You guys will see on the next episode. But I ended up buying the X6 from her. So she just went home right now to get the title, get her stuff out of the car, and bring me the car back. It's like perfect timing. Hopefully the guy shows up to buy the 335 because that's what I'm going to pay her with. Let's see if the guy shows up. One plane lands, another one takes off. Here you go. I just held it for a few seconds. Thank you. Nice doing business with you. Appreciate it.
My pleasure as always.
All right. Everything's done. This is coming to an end. Part ways with the 335. Really gonna miss this thing. It was a really nice car. I was starting to teach my daughter how to drive stick shift on that car. It was something I would definitely keep, and it was the first car of the challenge, so there's definitely some sentimental value on the car. Was nice, was the first one. You know, my daughter started driving a little bit on it. She's 13, by the way. If you're doing this, take them to a private track, not on the streets. I don't enforce minors or unlicensed drivers driving on the road. But anyways, let's go to the end of the video and see how much we made on this car realistically. Okay, I'll give you guys a breakdown of the price the most realistic way possible, so you could do this on your own or however else you want and would like to. So one thing I am going to take accountability for that we didn't previously check when we did the overall check on the car. We should have caught this and see why this was happening with the steering. We wanted to be fast and get the oil pan out of the way and done, so we didn't look over why the steering was so stiff before, and this ended up being the cause. So I am going to pretend that we found this problem before we did the oil pan. So let's go back to the 150 that it was before. So this brings us to a total price of $2,500 spent on the car. $2,500 plus the $4,600 that we paid for the car, $7,100. So we ended up making $1,100 on the car. I did tell the guy that he was coming all the way from Queens to New Jersey where my shop is at, so that's a good 2.5 hours drive. First, initially I had told him that I could meet him halfway, but it was such a busy day. It's Monday, I had a lot going on, so I told him, listen, if you want to drive straight to the shop, I could take off $200 for you, which we agreed on $8,500, so 200 off $8,500. I was doing it for $8,300. He got here, he's like, look, I see the car. I put the car on the lift for him. I show him everything, how clean the car was, how nice, new parts, everything. And I told him, listen, you're buying the parts that are on the car and getting the car for free, pretty much. So he saw that and he's like, I'm not gonna beat you down on the price, man. I see that the car is, but what can you do for me? I was like, listen, I had told you initially that I was gonna take 200 off. I'll take 300 off. So give me 8,200. So he gave me 8,200 for the car. So I'm in it for 7,100. We made 1,100 on the car. That's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next one. We ended up buying another car the same day, the same exact day that the guy came in to buy the car. The customer came in, decided not to do the work. The guy was already on the way, so I told her, yeah, I'll buy the car off of you. The guy came, showed up with the money. I took the money from him, gave the money to her, and bought a second car, which you guys will see on the next episode. But for now, this is how much we made on the car. We made 1,100. That was a quick flip. I kept the car for probably 2 weeks. I'm really bad with timing. That was a quick flip. And again, if you guys are able to do the work yourself, you could have saved another $1,000. You could have made another $1,000 in profit. So you could have made $2,000 on 2 weeks. So that was a quick flip. I'll show you guys the next car. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching. I'm excited to see how this is gonna go because it's picking up really quick, and I'm excited to show you guys what comes next. Until the next one, peace guys, thanks for watching.